good morning. Welcome to a fantastic new week. My name is Vida Echetabu. Thank you for joining us at this session today. I appreciate all your support, likes, comments, shares, subscriptions. Thank you so much. So a few months ago, I had a personal conversation with myself, and that's what I do when I want expert advice. I hope you get that. I asked myself, if I was going to be the president of this country, or if my principal, ended up being the president of this country, what would be the things that, we should look at with regards to concerns and reforms? And I said to myself, not many things. We're not doing 21 bullet points or 48 agenda type of things. I said to myself, 3 critical things. One would be education, the next one would be processing, and the last one would be security. And it doesn't necessarily follow any order of priority. 3 of them are critical. About 2-3 weeks ago, I spoke about education. So that's on one side. Today, I'll be talking about processing. And by processing, I mean processing of our raw materials, processing of our human resources, and the like. Anybody who is in any form of creative endeavor or production or what's the word now? I'll come back to the word when I find it. Would know that the magic is in the process. The money is also in the process. Now, when I look at, and I'm just going to give 2-3 broad examples because this conversation is meant to be concise and impactful, and I hope you enjoy it. When we look at countries who are oil producing, similar to Nigeria, what has set them apart and made their economies a lot more stable, and we can also see the development in their nations and their people. And I give hats off to the Middle East, and I also, at this point, obviously we have to acknowledge Russia. Even if you didn't have respect for them before, I'm sure that all of us in the last couple of months have a renewed sense of respect for them. Now, they have invested in not just exporting crude, but they have invested in making sure that they process the crude. And it's in the processing of the crude that they have so much more to provide as goods and services to all the people who patronize them, who buy from them, and they're able to sell multitude of things. It's a common street knowledge that when you process crude, you are able to have so many more byproducts, and the demand for all those variables are there. So there are multiple streams of income and not just one. Whereas on the other hand, in this case, Nigeria, sadly, our refineries have not necessarily been working. They're just there, to the best of my knowledge. And we have lost out on a lot of critical income that we could have benefited from. We move to agriculture. We do a lot of agricultural export, and again, raw materials. And there's a limit to what you can charge. Your competitive advantage with regards to exportation of raw materials is not at a strong place at all. Because take for instance, if you process palm oil, there is so much you can do with palm oil. The pharmaceutical industry uses palm oil, it's part of their raw materials. Beauty and cosmetics also use, use palm oil as well. I think if you process yam, you would have bioethanol, which is also, I think one of the critical components of fertilizer, and there's so many other things, and those are just 2. And Nigeria has rich arable land where we're able to grow so many types of produce that if we invested some in the processing and not just, exporting the raw materials as they are, we would have so much more value and income. Our youths would be more, profitably engaged, the economy will show for it. Let's skip to our human resources, and we already touched on this when I spoke about education. But if we do not deliberately make sure that our educational system is properly value adding, the educational system here will just be like our raw materials, very basic. Then when we want strategic forward thinking people, we send them abroad and then go and look for them and then pay a premium, and I'm not against people being paid premiums, but how about setting up world-class institutions and processes here such that we also attract other people to come and school in this land, to come and process in this land, and we're able to really carve a place for ourselves. So in your corner, in your own world, have you elevated yourself? Have you allowed yourself be processed? Have you, improved yourself such that when they are looking for somebody to speak on certain matters, or when, decisions are going to be made, they invite you to come and have contributions, make comments, share your insights. What are you doing to process yourself appropriately and become more valuable? And that's what those of us who follow Jesus, have. We come to him as crude, raw materials, diamonds in the rough, and then he starts to work on us. By the help of the Holy Spirit, we drop off certain things, we lose certain dark sides that we might have had, and we start shining brighter and brighter. And that's what it's meant to be. I hope you have enjoyed this session. I look forward to your conversations on all our handles, especially the YouTube one. And I just wish you a very valuable, well-processed week. Ciao.